Right. Okay. So, PTSD.
So going over PTSD, and a good tie-in would PTSD would be like in the UK with the NHS overworking due to COVID. It's like a good idea could be like the doctor fails to save a patient due to like early ages in COVID, and then it's like little things in the morning that affect them, like an alarm clock or like something literally just dropping, and it's like, that's
It could be like, I like that, because you could do like, even if it's like him in like the morning or something making breakfast, and he like drops like a fork or a knife or something, and then it cuts to him like dropping a medical tool that he like fumbled during the operation.
that'd be cool.
I'm still thinking of which one to do.
We'll talk about it in a sec.
I'm trying to think with other stuff this, how could you expand it? Because at the moment you've got, it's like obviously a doctor that's failed to save a patient, and obviously now has PTSD from it. And like little things will set them off.
Yeah.
Or you could do the war vet thing.
Yeah.
Because it could literally be something as simple as like, I don't know, him like sitting in a cafe or like a restaurant, and if it's like the cafe, for example, he could hear like the coffee machine whirring or something, and it could like trigger like a bomb going off or something in his head, and then it just instantly like cuts straight to like a shot of him at war, like fighting people.
That'd be really cool.
Something along those lines.
That'd be cool.
And put some stuff into my notes as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's expanded.
Yeah. Right, Ben.
Can you guys go around first while I still think?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna go with my domestic abuse story.
I think that's the better one.
Swap the roles around, and then show how the guy copes with it, and it shows him like having the confidence to like speak up. But I don't know where he would go. Would he just like?
Because where is it taking? Like, is it just because they're
It's like an average urban area. Just
So
in
is it like a
the
marriage,
UK.
or is it like a parent to a
I'm
child?
thinking. I was thinking a bit younger, like,
I was
like
gonna say,
a
are they
uni
young?
relationship.
Yeah.
Like if they were 18, maybe.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that'd be quite good.
Like something like that. So if they were in uni, for example, because I've got a friend that's recently out of a like really toxic relationship, but it wasn't because of him. It was because of the girl who like really fucked him up. So I could base it off of that.
I think lowering the ages helps as well, because it's like
More relatable.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it shows it can just happen like any time. Like it's not just marriage.
I guess it could also like give not comfort, but
Reassurance.
Reassurance. I guess that like no matter sort of how young you are or whatever age you are, like if you're in that situation, like you've got to get out.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing, because you've got to like try to tailor it to make it seem like if the person, let's say someone's watching it who is going through that, like if they look at it, they're like, okay, I can speak out about it.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to make it not seem too negative, because if they watch it and like, shit, I can't speak about this because this is really bad.
It's a very fun line.
It's like, how will you create it to make it seem like at the end, okay, the person feels like they'll be able to speak about it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
What's the sort of plot you're going for, like the step-by-step stages? Like,
So I think if it's going to be a uni relationship, I think I'll do it on some sort of break.
Yeah.
So like a summer holiday or something, and the guy or the girl goes home to stay with the other for like the week and stuff, and we just see during this week as it just devolves and gets worse and worse. So I think it'll start being like not really abusive, but like sort of the odd like insult here or there, and it still sort of hurts the guy. And then as it gets further into the week, it gets worse and worse and worse, and probably progressively gets like more physical, more violent, and then it gets to the point where like the guy sort of again like speaks up and has like the confidence after being like tormented.
So is it all going to take place in like the week, or is it going to be like, I don't know, a month later, or is it?
I think
the difficulty is like that type of situation doesn't often happen in like just a short amount of time. It's usually within like, it'll start off like just name calling, and a while it'll be like just like a they'll hit them, and then suddenly it will become really abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, because it's 4 minutes. What is it? It's like
Yeah, it's like 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
3 to 5.
it is not a long time.
It's trying to fit every stage into it, and also the recovery stage of it.
You could have it from like him being recovered, he's now out of the relationship, like kind of going through like old photos, getting rid of stuff and kind of just going through it if you want, because it could give like a positive turn. Not like the violence is positive, like it gives this sort of thing
Shows
like
what he went through and
Yeah.
now he's out of it.
exactly like,
Yeah.
if you felt like that.
That's a good idea. Like the start.
Okay. Yeah, that could be good. Yeah.
Right. Mine still. I'm really confused with mine now because obviously it's about a kid who's suffering with mental illness, and obviously she has said like it's got to be something he can't really change. I was really confused what she meant. I don't really know what I'm doing.
So
It's got to be.
Well,
what's the
I
reason?
agree. Yeah, no, I agree with what she said. But
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
how does it start? Like, are you gonna
exactly.
are you gonna start right in like the heat of it, where he's like, what's it called? Where it's where he's already starting to feel shit, or
Yeah.
are you doing it from where he's feeling okay and then it slowly gets worse?
I don't think I could start it from, because obviously again a really long time. Like I
Yes,
think I've
yeah.
got to do it from, because I could kind of do the same concept of looking back, but it's just
yeah,
I don't think the situation will kind of. I guess you could start off as in it'll be two people sat in like a counselling room, and then when he begins to talk about it, that's when
Yeah,
it
that's
shows
true.
it.
yeah.
Because then it kind of, I don't know.
It could like start at the end, like
Yeah.
start
exactly.
where he's like getting counselling, or he's
Yeah.
starting to be on the up.
And also it can kind of cut out the short bits of how it began very lightly before I just felt like shit, blah blah blah. But I just don't get why does he feel shit. Like that's the problem I need to have, because obviously it's not all related, but like
You could do
apparently it's got to be something that he can't actually change. So it's just kind of him coming to terms with it's
Yeah.
nothing I can actually change about it.
It could be
How about,
his
like-
body image or something like that.
yeah.
The problem with that is
how about home life? Like if his parents are unhappy and they're like yelling at you, it's not like
Yeah, parents. Like,
maybe abusive, I don't know, but they're like
Yeah.
clearly not happy in their relationship and
I
they
guess
like
it-
fight every night.
I guess it could be to do with like how even if it's not your relationship, it affects other people.
Yeah.
Like obviously the two parents could be going through like a divorce or something,
Yeah.
and it's actually really affected him. But then I don't,
yeah, it's like a broad concept to go through.
because it's like, but that is like one of the main things why kids do feel shit like that. Like, but it's not massive.
I mean, what was your other sort of
Because
idea?
the other ideas I had are very, very brief. So obviously the one about social media with the girl,
Yeah.
with obviously like she gets really engulfed in social media, and obviously she really wants to change everything about herself just because of what she sees. But I think that's quite.
You could put that together with like the depression thing.
Yeah, that could tie into it, but I feel like a lot of people are going to do it, and I think if you're going to do it, it's all going to look the same.
Yeah,
Like,
it's quite similar to.
exactly. And then the other ones I had was just like drugs and tying into knife crime and stuff like that, because obviously knife crimes are
Massive.
it's massive, but
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I don't.
I feel like it could be quite, because this is something that I was thinking about. It's like how many people are going to do this topic, or like how many
Yeah, exactly.
how many times has this been done? And it's like, if you're going to do like drugs or knife crime, I would say like put your own sort of twist on it or something.
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah, we are. All right.
Like yeah, if you're going to do like knife crime, I would say have like your own twist on it, or like do
That's the thing.
something original. I guess like with domestic abuse, like that's covered all the time, but I guess with the roles being reversed, I guess that's something that maybe doesn't get talked about as much.
I think it's difficult with knife crime because it's like, what can you really do? Because obviously,
So I guess it'd be like you could have gangs like kind of born into it. Like,
you could have obviously like a kid who was born into it, like had really no choice.
but it just feels a bit.
It's a bit obvious. Like
Yeah.
it's been done so many
Yeah, I get
times.
what you mean.
So
I think your first idea was goats.
it's
Yeah.
good. It's just really
It's just you
difficult.
need context on
I
how-
need that original how and why does he feel like
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So I guess the most obvious one is he's homosexual, but
Yeah. But I feel like if you go into that, a lot of people have gone into that sort of. He feels this way because he's homosexual.
like
you know?
that is a very obvious one, but obviously a lot of people,
Yeah.
like a lot of people have gone through it from like secondary, for example. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like obviously a lot of people at different times. It's when you kind of get out of that secondary is when you open up, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people come to college and they're not the same people.
Yeah, I know. What
To
you mean.
this, like, there's one girl in here who went to my school. Does not look how she did in school.
Oh,
Okay. So it was your idea to do with.
Yeah. I'm
You
still on the same thing, like the racism, police brutality thing.
Because you
But I've done it sort of like while they're protesting something. And like, just, you know how they hold up signs in mass
Yeah.
groups and then the police, sort of in that film we watched on Monday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You could tie it
Yeah.
by if you kind of do what they've done with it, I guess. 'Cause,
So like massive groups and the police like,
yeah, it's just really. It's quite. I don't know. It's really difficult. Obviously, it's a really good idea. It's just really difficult to execute. I think because first of all, you've got to find a lot of people who are also willing.
Yeah. You've got a lot of people to find, and then a lot of time you need.
And also, if you're thinking if you're just doing this in our class, it won't work.
Yeah.
Because unless I don't know, well,
You have someone speaking about their experience, sort of thing. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I could do like someone speaking of their experience and then have some like old footage
Yeah.
of like an old protest to pretend that that's them in the protest.
So is this about like protesting and stuff?
Yeah.
like police brutality and like
Okay.
it's just it's a topic that's been obviously like covered a lot over the last
Yeah.
like 2 years. Like it's massive. But I just don't.
It's just hard to put it into.
First of all, it's hard to put it into words, and it's also
Yeah.
the
5
idea
minute film.
because that's a big topic to cover
Yeah.
in 5 minutes, and it's like obviously you can niche it down to certain like demographics and stuff, like,
Yeah.
certain cultures, and see how like obviously the police is a good idea because obviously that's the thing that happens the most.
Yeah.
Like, but also you could do it in like a workplace and stuff like that because I don't see a lot to do with that. Like someone
That's
trying,
true.
just generally it could just be someone trying to go get work as like a young person.
Yeah.
Obviously, and you could just put it like they would just look at them and be like, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be quite good, actually.
because it's kind of like I think doing protests is really difficult to
Yeah.
film and stuff because you need first of all a lot of people,
They need a big space and like
and you also need like background to do with the topic
Yeah.
and like why
And
is
you
this
got-
blown up?
it's a lot to build in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it's like
yeah,
it-
which is the main thing, like the time as
Yeah.
well that you have to build it. But I mean,
But then
you
again,
could do it if it's about like police brutality and protest. You could start it in the middle of a protest maybe,
Yeah.
and show how the events unfold, like and you could tell the story or like why they're protesting just really easily just through like a chant or something. Like if they had like a sign that said something and they were chanting something loudly like that, would just immediately tell the audience what they're protesting, why they're protesting it, and then you can show how the police react and sort of the events that slowly unfold.
Yeah.
throughout it.
Yeah.
have you picked an idea?
Right,
I
Ben.
have.
Okay.
So I've gone back towards the sort of world peace area between the Russia and Ukraine conflict, and sort of mixed in just a little bit like stress of cost of living. So I've got basically it's Ukrainian refugees who are fleeing Ukraine because of all the bombings and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're moving in with an English family.
Okay.
And then I'll have like maybe a short scene of them living pretty happily together for a little bit before the cost of living crisis then becomes a big thing. And then it'll be shots of like the English family because the Ukrainians haven't yet been able to find jobs. It's like stressing over the income levels to try and provide for not only their family but the Ukrainians as well. And the Ukrainians being stressed from taking from the family without being able to get a job yet and pay their way.
Yeah. Have they? So is it like the Ukrainian family? Did they move in with like an English family?
Yeah.
Because I think. I don't know. That, I was going to say what you could have done is like, do they have like kids or something?
I haven't really thought-
Are they young? Are they like a young?
They'll be like probably early 30s.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I was going to say that's not relevant now. Because I was going to say like you could make them if they were younger, like not very verbal towards like the English. Because you're obviously going to be very afraid of anything other than what you know. And now obviously what has happened, you're not going to trust many people.
Yeah.
But I think the cost of living's a good idea, but it's how
I mix it in with
exactly.
So is it going to be like the contrast between like a Ukrainian family and an English family?
Yeah,
like how
because
they...
like the English family's stressing and trying to provide for everyone, but then the Ukrainians don't have a job yet.
This was also really tying like kind of if you could do like not really culture, is it really? But like because obviously their living style was probably very different to how we are in England, and you can just see how they've tried to like adapt to how we live, and obviously our living prices right now, like how it affects them. But I don't know. It's very difficult to talk about this. I just don't know what to say.
But then again, like how, like showing Ukrainians trying to survive from the war and cost of living, like how does that link back to world peace? Because you said that this is about like world peace and stuff. Or could you just say that it's about?
I use that as like a reference for the Russian-Ukraine conflict.
Yeah.
So.
Alright.
Because I guess. Well, no, they would still. No, I don't even know at this point. I'm trying to think of an idea, but it's really difficult. Because I was going to say, like, obviously, if they've come into England trying to find work, let's say, for instance, they didn't have any qualifications, and it's like the living crisis. They've come over here, no money, nothing, just them two, and in an English household.
Yeah.
It's like survival, basically. Like, how are they going to survive?
Yeah. Well, I haven't thought yet if the Ukrainians might have a kid or two, or the English family might have a kid or two.
But I feel like it's definitely a good idea, just because you can show how, or like the bleak reality that a lot of Ukrainians are going through at the minute, like trying to live and trying to survive. But again, I feel like, I know you've said using world peace as a reference, but I think I initially thought it was going to be about world peace, so that would be involved more, which is the only thing.
I think there's a lot of topics in one film as well. Like there's a lot going on. Like it's not really, it doesn't really have a main focus towards it. Like you need to pinpoint like something. It's like the main topic of it.
What would be like, just off the top of your head, what would be the story, or like what would be the resolution? Like how would it come to a close?
Probably make it so the Ukrainians. It's hard because I don't know whether I want it to be like a happy ending or like.
It's difficult at the moment
as happy ending
because it hasn't actually ended. So that like at the moment there is no happy ending.
Yeah.
Like in reality, there will be no real happy ending for them. Like they're not all gonna be able to go back over and like their houses are fine, everything's back to normal.
Take
like
years of rebuilding.
Exactly, and obviously that's too short to explain the whole rebuilding process because you just can't.
Yeah, in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that, I think it could be effective just to. I don't think necessarily you need to show the other family. I think it would be equally, if not more effective, just to show the Ukrainian family struggling and trying to survive, because as well it gives you another challenge of trying to fit in these two stories within 5 minutes. Like that gives you around 2.5 minutes to show both of these stories. So I feel like if you focused on just one, so the Ukrainians for example, and showing their struggle, I feel like that would be good. And if the ending was literally just not like it wasn't happy, but it was just quite bleak and showing sort of what they're going through and what they have to put up with, I think that could be equally as effective.
Shit,
I feel like that's.
I forgot to write down any idea. So I would go. I've forgotten everything now. Well, we got it there. So what did I say?